High school is a test to see how you will navigate society. It's full of elite cliques, cocky jocks, nerds, outcasts, and wide-eyed optimists, all of which have their own ambitions, needs, and of course, a crushing social hierarchy. This is also the first time where more mature content is explored, including sexuality, or what constitutes as sex, violence and bullying, normally geared towards the misunderstood and kind-hearted, teachers preparing you for the world, which is never quite as they describe, and learning how to be a beneficial citizen for your community. But every school has that one group that runs it all. Buckle up and put on that scrunchie because today we're jumping into the world of the original Mean Girls, Heathers. Welcome to How to Musical, the series, a series focused on helping you audition for the roles in musicals and landing the part you've always wanted. My name is Decker, and in this video, I'm going to be going over the singing requirements for Veronica Sawyer, Heather in Training, and the Violent Vagabond, Jason Dean, JD for short. But first, let's get into the rules. First, we will analyze the songs the characters sing by ranking the song's agility, breath, and voice register navigation. The song's rating, or SR for short, will go from a ranking of 1 through 5 to indicate how difficult that category is. Now, agility, the first one, is measured based on speed between notes as well as navigating intervals. Now, the second one is breath, and this is focused on how many seconds of breath is being used through a phrase, as well as the opportunities for breath recovery and forgiveness should you miss said breath. For example, you might have a song that's relatively slow, but maybe the phrases are very long, requiring a lot of breath support and capacity and being able to survive that phrase. Or maybe you have a fast song. Maybe the breath is readily available in a lot of different sections, but the window is narrow and missing said breath option might lead you to sound very winded during your song. Not a great thing to have happen. And lastly, we have the voice register navigation, and this is focused on the range the song requires for you to sing, as well as where the song lies in terms of passaggio for the voice type it was written for. Again, example, song has a wide range, and you're in the extremes of your range, it might be pretty difficult. Also, if the range is short, but it's sitting between your mixed and head voice for the entire time, also could be very difficult, even though you're not transitioning between a wide range. By analyzing the song's difficulty and assigning an SR to it, we can identify the character rating the role has. This brings me to the second section, which is the character rating, or CR, which is based on the overall character difficulty. We will take the highest rating per category and then average those components to get the estimated difficulty for that role. This should help us see what will be required from you, in my opinion, if you want to have the best shot for landing the role, as it will show the bare minimum you must have in order to not only perform this role correctly, but be able to thrive in it. Do note that ranking performance and ranking difficulty are two entirely separate things. However, any additional vocal skills you have should help your chances. That being said, let's go ahead and meet our dead girl walking, Veronica Sawyer. Veronica Sawyer is just your average teen trying to survive her senior year of high school. The song that starts the show, Beautiful, introduces us to the atmosphere all the students are trying to survive in from her point of view. We are introduced to some students that have a major impact on her life. For example, we meet up with Martha Dunstock, her best friend, who is very quickly called Martha Dumptruck by two jocks, Kurt and Ram, who tend to be the bullies of the school, but don't necessarily have a lot of influence per se. Now, most of the attributes of this song are of average difficulty, requiring some vocal training to be semi-agile and get through phrases without being winded. So we will mark those as a 2.5 for both the agility and the breath. However, this is one of the harder songs for Veronica due to the vocal range of the song going from a G3 to a G-sharp 5. This means that the highest note which needs to be belted is right around the second passaggio for her voice type, which I personally would say is a lyric mezzo-soprano, which puts it at a 5. So this song would be an SR 4, since the vocal range has pretty heavy impact on if someone is able to sing the song. Next for Veronica, we have Fight For Me, where she sings about how she likes the bad boy, JD, while he's wiping the floor with the jocks, Kurt and Ram. With a vocal range of B3 to D5, it has a modest voice range and doesn't go higher than the upper mix for the voice, so we'll place this at a 3. It doesn't have much agility as it has more legato or smooth and connected phrases throughout the entirety of its song, which fits this odd love song. So a 1.5 is what that one gets. This does mean that there is a good amount of skill required for breathing. With a 3, this brings us to the verdict of an SR3, meaning that any novice singer should be able to perform this. The last of Veronica's solos only comes into play if you're doing the West End version of Heathers. I am factoring this one in because 1, I love this song, and 2, it is an absolute doozy. I Say No is the moment where Veronica decides to reject JD, his philosophy, and his murdering ways, and start making up for all the pain she has caused. It not only has fast notes, but it has several moments where you need to quickly move in leaps and melismas throughout the song, or runs or quick ornamentation as you're singing. That, coupled with the long phrases requiring about 8 seconds of breath, difficult recovery sections, and a vocal range of almost 2 octaves, G sharp 3 to E5, this song has a solid SR4 rating. If you can sing this song, you should have a good chance to sing any of her songs. Just be careful with your voice, and make sure you don't push yourself too hard in the upper part of your register. Now, let's see what JD can really do. JD is the bad boy with just enough damage and ambition to become the serial killer no one wanted. In his first song, Freeze Your Brain, we learn about his tragic backstory and how he has been neglected. Thus, he looks toward the only thing consistent in his life, 7-Eleven. This song has a relatively fast pace, with some melismas, and requires a good amount of breath pacing, with some narrow openings for recovery should a mistake be made. It also has the range of a D flat 3 to G4, which means that the high note is right around the second passaggio for a lyric tenor, so it may be difficult, which brings this song to an SR 3.5. Again, be careful of the high notes, and don't blow your voice. Fast forward past one sex scene, 3 murders, and a breakup, we find JD forcing Veronica into a corner and trying to convince her to come back to him in I Was Meant to Be Yours. JD has finally worked up the courage that no one knew he needed to kill the entire school with bombs. Yay! JD is going back and forth between trying to win Veronica over and the excitement of sending the Marthas and Heathers to heaven. Because JD is further devolving, we go between slow legato moments and disjunct speech. Thus, this song requires quite a bit of agility and breath support. Sadly, since it isn't as different as his first song and has a range of a G sharp 3 to G sharp 4, it's an SR 3.5 as well. The real challenge will be with the performance. Lastly, we have the physically and psychologically broken JD singing I Am Damaged. Since JD is in a weakened state, he is singing slower, breathing more, and his range is restricted to an E3 to an E4. With this, the SR drops down to a 1.5. Very easy, but the main focus is on emotion and not really on vocal skill, which is why it is ranked as such. Do not let the easy songs keep you from putting on a great performance though. So, we have analyzed the characters and judged their songs. Let's see where they stand. Veronica requires a lot of skill for many of her songs, with a 4 in agility, a 4.5 in breath, and a 5 in voice register navigation, with an overall range of an E3 to an A5. She comes at a CR of 4.5, definitely at the near highest caliber that any character can be for a show. This role is not for everyone and requires near mastery of vocal skill in order to play this role. I would recommend using the following songs in your audition if you were to go for Veronica. I'd Rather Be Me from Mean Girls, Out Tonight from Rent, and Just Breathe from Prom. Now JD, on the other hand, is a bit easier. With a 3.5 in every single category, he gets a CR of 3.5. Mind you, this does not mean that JD is an easy character, but rather those that are a bit more advanced than a novice singer should be able to sing the role the character has. Whether or not the performance is outstanding is an entirely different matter. I recommend using one of the following songs for your audition. Squip's song from Be More Chill, There's also Enjoy the Trip from Bring It On and Favorite Son from American Idiot. It is always better to pull off a harder piece, but make sure you can actually sing the song. Nothing hurts your chances to land a role than singing a song that you're not capable of. Remember, we want to make sure we show off the skills and strength of your voice, not just that you can sing a hard song. And with that, it's a wrap. So I hope this video helps you in any of your future auditions, be it for Heathers or any other musical. Maybe it's woken you up to how to think about picking out songs for shows, or maybe you can take some of these and you're gonna go right at an audition. It's actually right around the corner. If you have any thoughts, critiques, or recommendations, please put them in the comments down below. I would really love to hear any insight or really see what you're all interested in. Maybe you have an audition coming up and you'd like to know what song might be the best pick for landing a certain character. Now, I do not try to pick songs that are very common, so if you have any recommendations for what you think these characters would have, also please leave that in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say and keep the conversation going so we can all grow together. Now until next time, grab your scrunchies, be ambitious, and don't forget you have the makings of greatness in you. Until next time, take care.